Hi everyone, welcome back to Branching Out. I'm Curtis Hanlon, and today I'm going to do something I'm a little bit excited about because I've been looking for these and haven't figured out where to find red oak acorns. So I didn't really know until I went for a little walk and I stumbled upon it, and then I had to download an app to tell me what it was because I couldn't really tell. So I took a leaf from that same tree and found out that it was a northern red oak. So that's what we're going to propagate today. You can eat acorns, but they have a thing in them called tannins. And what you're going to want to do is once you've cooked them up a little bit, you can crack the shell, get the nut out of there, and then what you do is you boil them, and there should be like a brownish water that'll occur, and then you drain that water and you put fresh water and you boil it again. And you do this until you don't see any more brown, because those tannins can kind of hurt your stomach and or make you sick. So definitely be careful if you're going to eat acorns. I'm just going to propagate them because I think a red oak is a pretty wanted type of tree. And branching out here, we're all about growing nuts and fruits and anything you can pretty much eat. So I do some decorative stuff, but that's more on the side for my hobby. So we're going to get going. I'm going to show you what we're got to do to prep the nut, and then we'll show you how to store them. Alright, so here's our acorns here. I grabbed a couple of dozen here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find the ones that are broken. We're going to get rid of them. We're not going to soak them. What we could do to find out if these are viable is stick them in water and see if they float. But what we're going to do is take their cute little hat off, because they all come with like this little hat in some cases, so we're going to get that. So we're just going to examine them, and anything that's got a crack or a hole, maybe a squirrel started to munch on it, so we're going to get rid of that. So what we want is just the clean nut all by itself. They have this natural coating on them too, right? So what we're going to do is that's what we're going to do. We're going to clean these all up, just make sure that all the caps are off and stuff like that, examine them, and then get them ready to put in their type of soil or medium. Alright, so this is all our stash here. It wasn't too bad. Again, we could stick these in water and find out, like this one here has a hole in it, so we'll get rid of that. It would have sunk, right? So because it would have filled with water. But yeah, that's how you do it if you're going to do a whole bunch. I'm only doing a couple of dozen here. But what I do have is my sphagnum moss. Now I use sphagnum moss because it's got a better microbial property to it. It holds moisture better. It's just it fends off the mold a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, like, this stuff is not wet or even really damp, to be honest with you, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all of this out of here. I'm going to put these kind of lower at the bottom because these aren't the only nuts that are going to go in this. Hopefully I'm going to be getting some hickory, and the hickory nuts will definitely get propagated this year too as well. So what we're going to do, grab a handful or so of this, like just like that or whatever, just spread them out on the bottom and push them down in there. Now again, this is not wet soil. I got another hole here. This is barely damp. It's just cool to the touch, to be honest with you, but that's enough to keep it from germinating right away. As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to germinate. Now I'm going to put these directly into the fridge, and it's going to sit in that fridge for probably until March, when I can get into the greenhouse and possibly pre-start them before the spring in the greenhouse. So let's hope that works too. But yeah, so far this thing has been really helpful for me to do my black walnuts, my edible chestnuts, and my pawpaws. So I've always used the same medium. So sphagnum moss is my best, but you can use vermiculite or sand. Some people use sand, and you can even use dirt. But the problem with dirt is there's so much microbes going on, and well, you know, all the goodies that are in soil, and it starts to create more mold, and that just sucks because then you got to pull it all out halfway through, clean them all off, and then try to put it back, and that you might still have a problem with mold. So that's what we're gonna do. Just keep burying these on this half here. We'll just spread them out along the bottom here. They can be fairly close together. I mean, they grow like a good taproot, just like the nuts do, before they start spreading out into their mycelial network. And Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Let me show you. Again, a couple layers. You don't need lots, really. Again, this is just going to help keep them, because the best viable acorns that you're going to get are going to be the ones that are falling from the tree. In some cases, you would dry a lot of nuts and stuff like that, but from what I was told, you don't really dry these out. You just plant them just like they would do in nature. So that's all we're really trying to do, is mimic what nature would do. And nature would drop them to the ground. Some leaves would fall on top of it, possibly making some kind of soil barrier. And then the moisture and stuff would start to attack it and break down that shell a little bit until it was time, after it came out of the stratification, crack that shell, and then the root can start to grow. Or maybe the root cracks the shell. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works exactly. But yeah, so we have this half. The other half I'm going to use for my hickory nuts, but they haven't fallen from the tree yet. They won't probably come down until probably late September or soon, maybe. So that's what we're doing. So again, I use sphagnum moss, and it seems to be really helpful for me. So I don't see why it wouldn't work for you. Alright, just shove them in the fridge like that. Now this is just a small fridge that I have. This is my loft at my farm. It's like my hangout and my place where I think and plan and do all the work that I need to do here on the farm. So that's going to have to stay in there for at least 30 to 60 days to stratify. But what we did is we didn't add a lot of moisture to it. So it's not going to do what it should do during stratification. So what we're going to do is, when it becomes about December, I'm going to start adding moisture to that and increase that moisture level so that they'll start to stratify, because it's only going to be, like I said, 2 months, and really I have another 6 months before spring. So we don't want to speed it up too much. So that's what we're going to do with that, and that's what you need to do for acorns. So I'm glad you stuck around for this video, because even I was kind of excited to have red oak in my collection. And I want you guys to be safe and come back next week and watch the rest of my videos. So don't forget to push that thumbs up down there, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next week.